pleasure. I, Reshma Rohida, on behalf of 𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐞𝐿, welcome you all for the second season, which takes you to the journey of future of digital marketing and marketing excellence, Digital Horizons 2024. So today we begin a unique exploration regarding and diving deep into integrated marketing communication. Obviously, in today's interconnected world, the engagement is key for everyone, and every buyer's journey has many nuances to it, and which are very important to see. So, Digital Horizons is dedicated to unveiling the strategies, secrets, and innovations that will redefine the communication with the audience. So I'm honored to be with you on this journey. And as we start the thought provoking panel discussion on integrated marketing communication and buyer's journey. So, guys, let me introduce you all to the organizer of the event. IVIPN comprises of expert professionals who have worked on diverse global projects with over 115 clients. The company has helped business grow substantially on digital platforms. Digital Horizons is an initiative to make business owners understand the potential capacity of digital marketing. Our esteemed panel today, comprised of industry leaders and experts, they are a treasure of knowledge and varied viewpoints, ensuring a deep dive into the complexities of marketing communication. Allow me to introduce you to them. So we have with us Mr. Vishal Rupani, joining us from Mumbai. He is the co-founder and CEO of Sprec.com. With a remarkable 15-year journey, he has turned ideas into multi-million-dollar revenue-generating products in branding and performance marketing. As a former co-founder of and CEO of mCanvas, he waged war on mediocrity in mobile advertising, addressing key issues and earning the trust of global brands. Recognized as one of the industry's disruptive minds, he is also an influential speaker at renowned events and an advisor at Tripper Wi-Fi, contributing expertise in strategy and marketing. We welcome you, Vishal.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Reshma.
We have with us Mr. Devart Mukherjee, joining us from Bengaluru, is working as a creative at Talented.agency with over 5 years as a seasoned copywriter. He has trimmed in winning major brand pitches, contributing to impactful campaigns for Happydent, Porsche, Myntra, Britannia, and Google Pixel 8. Notably, as a creative lead at Porsche India at Shabang, he earned the prestigious Copywriter of the Year award from Social Samosa and a Cannes Lions Young shortlist. His influence extends to starting at Spec Ad Wave on LinkedIn, empowering young talents in the industry to showcase their creativity fearlessly. We welcome you, Devard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
We have with us Miss Divya Agrawal. Is from Mumbai. She's a strategy mentor at the 30-Minute University of Planning, a seasoned professional thriving on strategic logic, creative magic, and unyielding curiosity. Holding a post-graduation from NICA, she combines her engineering background with over a decade of diverse industry experience, offering a unique blend of rationality and design thinking. Recognized for contributions to renowned companies like Ogilvy, MCAN, and Leo Burnett, her accolades includes Effie's Work Awards and a National Geographical and World Nomad Scholarship. Her proudest accomplishment is Fevistic's current byline, a testament of her strategic prowess in the realm of creative giants at Ogilvy. We welcome you, Divya.
Thanks, Reshma. Thank you so much for having me and also now reminding me that it's time to update my LinkedIn bio.
You should.
I'm very, very excited to be here.
Yeah. I think you don't have to update your LinkedIn bio. Now people will know from here only. So, and again, we have with us Saurav Rana joining from Delhi. He's a SEO director at Physics Walla with over 12 years of expertise in the digital marketing industry. He has distinguished SEO expert in India. Renowned for his SEO consultancy, he brings a wealth of experience in SEO industry, specializing in penalty recovery and successful strategies for sites affected by Google Panda and Penguin updates. We welcome you, Saurav. I think he'll join with us in a minute. And our panel moderator of the day is Mr. Bautik Sheth, who is the founder of 𝐈𝐽𝐿 Digital Marketing Services. With over 17 years of experience, he has trained more than 65,000 people and consulted 115 plus businesses. He received many awards that shows his result-oriented leadership and commitment to his work. We welcome you, Bautik.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Looking forward.
So their combined wealth of expertise creates a powerhouse for us today, and I'm confident their collective wisdom will spark insightful discussion on the topic. So before we proceed, guys, if you have any question, note them down or comment it in the comment box. We'll take it later or during the session as and when the time hits. So over to you, Bharti.
Okay, thank you so much. And I welcome all of you once again, Vishal Devaraga and Divya. Obviously, we had already a small chat behind the scenes, but yeah, the topic has been selected considering the fact that now we are no more talking about only social media, website, and the search engine. You have to consider a lot many media. You have to consider so many different things, and the communication has becoming more challenging. So I want the opening statements from all of you, first of all, and you can take 2 to 3 minutes for this opening statement related to the theme of the day. And the question is very simple for the opening statement, that what is your opinion regarding that integration of the different mediums for the single goal that you want to attain as an organization in 2024? How do you see what should be the straightforward approach of the organizations where the integrated marketing communication comes into the picture in this year? So we'll start from Vishal.
Wow, last name goes first. Great. So again, thanks for having me, Bhautik. I'm really thrilled to be part of the discussion here. Now, before I directly answer your question, let me paint a quick picture here for everyone, right? Which is, imagine a customer stumbles upon your brand. They see a catchy social media ad, then catch a glimpse of your blog post in a search result. Later, if they receive a personalized email offering a free trial, right? But hold on, there's more, right? Now, what if they see a product placement in their favorite influencer's video while scrolling through TikTok or let's say Reels in India, right? Now, wouldn't that be a dream for most marketers? But what it is in reality, it's more of a symphony of integrated marketing communication playing beautifully in action. And then someone like me who's lived and breathed digital advertising, right? I'm excited to explore how we as marketers can really orchestrate this symphony, guiding buyers seamlessly through their journey from awareness to conversion. And like Pathik said, it's not just limited to social media anymore, right? It's about integrating all these various different channels to create that impact that you want. For the matter of me, the siloed channels are really a thing of the past. Today, it's about blending the paid ads that one is running, the organic content, the personalized outreach, all into one cohesive experience that will resonate with your target audience. Now, again, while I have a digital bias, given my digital advertising background, I would not have anyone ignore the traditional media channels, which can again be very well integrated in your IMC strategy. Answering Bautik's question very straightforward and direct now. I think in 2024, there are three things one wants to do really well when it comes to your IMC, which is one is you do want to understand your buyers deeply, right? And what I mean by that is you want to walk in their shoes, understand their pain points and aspirations, and then map your communication at each stage of your journey. Only then will you be able to create that IMC strategy. Linking it back to what I said earlier, right? The second part is breaking down the silos. Now, if you not really are able to walk in the shoes of your customers, you're going to continue treating all your advertising channels like isolated islands, right? You will not be able to create cross-channel campaigns that tell a coherent strategy, something that reinforces your messaging across all platforms. So that's really number two for me, which is break down those silo walls. Don't treat each channel independently. And the third is, and this is often scary for a lot of CMOs that I speak to, is analytics. To me, analytics really are the magic wand that helps you fine tune messaging. You can personalize your content. You can measure the impact of our efforts. Because really optimization is key. What I've seen often happen is people set and forget, thinking that the strategy they have is going to keep working, right? They don't really bother as much looking at analytics because it's scary to look at analytics from so many different platforms. It can be intimidating, but it is truly the need of the hour. Unless you've really looked at your data, I don't think you can really have an IMC, right? It's integrated. How are you going to integrate it without looking at data across all these channels? Having said that, I am also eager to learn from the fellow panelists here and delve into those practical strategies that make buyers feel understood, valued, and ready to walk hand in hand with our brands.
Thank you so much, Vishal, for your opening statement. And we also welcome Saurabh. Saurabh Rana has joined. He's the SEO director of Physiquala. And we are going to have so many questions going to ask to him as well. And meanwhile, whosoever is going to join us from anywhere, from YouTube, from LinkedIn, please drop your questions. And we'll definitely take your questions at the end of the talk. Meanwhile, whosoever is going to watch this recording, you also can put your question at that time, and we'll make sure that your questions, even after the completion of this live recording, we'll try to get back to the speakers and try to get the answers from them. So now let us continue. Devar, your opening statement on the same.
So it's interesting that what Vishal said, right? Like it has to the traditional media and the digital media, we can see they're coming into a blend, right? A beautiful blend. So we have a great philosophy at Talented also, which is that it is not what we do on social, but what ends up on social. Right. So if you look at the current trend right now, like "Ye Kisne Dhoonda" campaign by Google. Before that, the Zomato "Kheer Mangoge to Kheer Denge." Right. So even the like few days back, only Flipkart did a campaign where they talked about the winter sale, and there were people taking, heat from the fire. And pictures were taken and then posted on social media. So the point is, all these campaigns that have been done, it is not purely for the agenda of putting it on an OH, right? Putting it on a traditional media, but how they can translate into social as well. So most of these briefs also, when we get from client, it is like, okay, we're going to do some OH, we're going to do some film, but figure out how can we amplify it on social, right? And sometimes the focus, like the "Ye Kisne Dhoonda" campaign, the focus is heavily on social as well, right? So we are seeing this blend happening to where we can actually see the outdoor media and the traditional media come into social and digital forefronts. But being said that, I think there has to be a certain kind of purpose and benefit also into the kind of marketing that we are doing. One great example we can see is how you can like collaborations is a huge forefront, right? Brands are collaborating with each other now. uh, One of the best example I saw is the Mokobara luggage with Indigo, right? It's a very simple idea, but it's a very beneficial idea. If you have the 6C luggage, you can actually carry extra weight. So there is a reason for them to buy that luggage. So over there is no big campaign that they have done. Like if you go to the social, if you go to the print, but the PR alone became the campaign. Right. So it was, so when we think about campaign, we have to think about, am I going to do this PR led, is this social led, it is traditional led? One thing has to be led and everything can be like a collateral. Right. So this is I think in 2024 we're going to see this trend a lot, where uh, just one media is not enough. Like it has to be translated either across PR, either across digital, or celebrity endorsement. Even the Pixel 8, they wanted to do something with celebrity, but they also wanted to revive Mr. India, right? The feature of Magic Eraser beautifully translated to the idea of Mr. India. So we are seeing like even what Divya Bopanna and all these people are doing using Mahi and MC Stein and all these people. Uh, it is clear that what they're trying to do is not just merely a collaboration, for the sake of collaboration, but keep a like a creative touch to it. So I think this is what we're going to see a lot of celebrity endorsement in 2024, but it will be a little nostalgic led, like Mr. India. Maybe we'll see Vasuli Bhai, right? Maybe we'll see Feel Head Feri. Abhi Wake Up Sit came just now, like Famous Innovation did a campaign with Wake Up Sid. So there will be a lot of resurrections of these beautiful ideas. So yeah,
There,
we're all
are you expecting something to happen in the next T20 World Cup? The very similar kind of campaign by any brand. Are you expecting?
yeah, I think I think that Dream 11 will come up with another campaign like they always do. I have worked very briefly for Dream 11 B2B, and their IPL is their highest earning. We are also seeing brands like Farmley, right, who have done collaboration with Rahul Dravid, and since Rahul Dravid became the coach, a lot of collaborations we are seeing with him also. So I think IPL is a great platform. A lot of ads are going to come out. I think all the agencies are busy right now because of that. So definitely, yeah.
I'm very optimistic about CRED again this time, and because I'm a big fan of the kind of creativity that they get from the 90s, and the people who are
Yeah.
80s and 90s born. We are the people who are actually earning, and we can spend. We can use credit card, and hence we can use the CRED. So
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. I think they were, because this
So,
is something that, yes,
so like it's very challenging for the media people, especially because like beforehand, it's like, okay, we made a TVC, we're gonna put it on TV. This is the channel where the IPL is gonna come. But now there is OTTs, right? So it's going to be interesting, like why someone is putting on GeoTV, why someone is putting on Star Sports, why someone is putting on some other OTT platform. So it'll be very interesting to see, like what is going to happen with the media side of it. Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much, Dev, for your opening statement. And now, Divya, your opening statement about the theme for the day.
Thanks, Bhautik. So I'll just build on what Devarg and Vishal also said. But before that, I want to say something about the T20. We all collectively as a country have a lot of PTSD from the World Cup. Then there's going to be IPL, and right after that, there's going to be T20. So I also feel there's a certain degree of fatigue which will set in with cricket, right? So it'll be very, very interesting and exciting to see what brands do and how do they capture people's attention during a time which then it just becomes like a third part, and like a lot of cricket. It could go both ways. So super excited to see that. I think in terms of an opening statement, we tend to see digital and every other medium as, a lot of times as all or nothing. Like we think either it's this or it's 360-degree, and there is some sort of no midway path to it. But really, like the choice of a medium will depend on what the business ask is, what is the context, because until and unless we map what is the reason, because the consumer journey or any buyer journey, as we are calling it, will depend on something which is the classic ida model, right? Like you create awareness, you create an interest, there's desire, there's action, there's advocacy. But what digital does, it kind of completely disrupts it. You are no longer looking at it in a sequential format. You immediately have things at the access, and you see an ad, say on social, you like it, you've immediately bought it, you might start advocating. You might see something on an outdoor, and like what Vishal said, right? You see something, and then you see somewhere else again, and then you see somewhere else again, and it kind of creates that impression, right? It reiterates. And it's how people behave with each other. I mean, if you think something is good, it is a function of multiple impressions across touch points. So I think context is really important in things like this. What digital really does is it allows us to attribute, but that attribution is usually last mile, right? If I've seen something at on an outdoor, I've seen a person wearing something, say for example, if we are talking about apparel, or I've seen a car on a highway, we might capture attribution on digital at the last mile, but honestly the intrigue gets built across touch points, and it's never linear as much as we'd like to do, because even in the brain the decision making is not linear. That's a completely different topic. We can get into neuroscience and discussing how decision making happens, but it's never literally rational as we tend to look at it. So messaging becomes really important. But honestly, what digital's allowing us to do, and look, like digital's become an integrated part of our lives, right? From earlier where it was just one touch point to today it's multi-screen behavior. The phones become an extended limb. We are constantly on screens. That's allowing us to be glued into action from no matter where you are. And therefore it's now become an era of, how earlier brands were all about creating gospel, but today it's about creating gossip. So if you've created gossip, you've created some intrigue and excitement, and then that kind of gets people to get onto the bandwagon and be like, okay, interesting. How can I, why am I not aware of it? We don't watch content today because just because it's, really interesting content to see. We watch it because we don't want to miss out on what everyone's talking about, really.
That's very interesting. You do not want to miss out. So thank you so much, Divya, for your opening statement. And now we have Saurav finally with us and with a beautiful background. I hope it's his home. So,
Yes,
so
yes, yes, yes,
Saurav,
sir.
we are expecting you on a lot of money at Physikwala, and you can have your own villa like this. But right now we are seeking your opening statement about this theme of the day. Although the opening statement is not only related to search engine or the Google ad campaigns, but overall, if you see the integrated marketing communication, the omni-channel marketing, and all that, what do you think? How it is going to happen in this year, or what things the business owners they should look forward to the different media, and how can they integrate all the media together for the proper communication?
Thank you, Bautik, for this question, and I'm very happy that I'm joining the panel with Vishal, Deva, and Divya. And the last line what Divya has said, the even we are discussing the same thing. Before I was today I was not well. There is a lot of winter, and everyone is coughing and cold in Delhi. So due to winter, so I was not well. So I came to home from office. So before coming to home, so we were discussing the same thing what Divya said, just like if a person is seeing the banner and ad, how, and another thing is that he's or she is coming uh, uh, to the brand and they are purchasing something, so how we can so digital is the last footprint. So another thing is that, just like Bhautik you said, now marketers are very smart, brands are really very smart, and just like just like you have said, omni-channel. I really feel that there is a still one thing that which is a lot of room of improvement, that is vernacular. If we should go for a vernacular, that we can create a higher ROI, deep impact on the audience from a product and marketing, and a loyalty among the customers also. So in a omnichannel marketing, just like vernacular is the thing that we can go uh, in and add in our marketing. Just like I can say, just like IPL is saying, so in last IPL, if I'm not wrong, last IPL they Bhojpuri commentary they have introduced. That was actually a new and innovative kind of marketing, a new channel of communication I have learned, and that was really very working. And in my previous company, we were working on the 9 vernacular language in an AdTech platform: Bengali, Odia, Kannada, Punjabi. There are 9 languages: Telugu, Tamil. So apart from this English and this all these things, if we go for a vernacular in a local language, I can tell you that if a bigger brand should go to vernacular by omnichannel marketing, and this is like whatever the medium that we have, is SMS, is there drip marketing, is affiliate. If we adopt the vernacular language, that we can lower down our cost of sale, lower down our marketing efforts, we can increase the returning customers also. So these are the things. So I can say, and another thing, in 2024, slowly now brands are actually very aware about this thing. Physics wala has working in the 5 different channel, five different languages. and we are doing really very good in our offline centers. Under 24/7, my previous company was working in nine languages. And another thing is another D2C brands will also come into this vernacular. That is actually a very good thing. So this is the thing. But because what just like if you say if a if your local person meet outside, just like from your Gujarati person met outside a Gujarati person, a Bengali person met outside of Gujarat, Bengal, then oh you are from Bengal, you're Gujarati. Arey kahan se? Arey baba yahan se. Arey aap jante ho. This same thing happened with my friend yesterday. She said, "Where are you from?" She Aligarh. Okay, Aligarh. From where Aligarh? Then they said there are two friends of mine. One said Aligarh, another side also Aligarh. From where Aligarh? From this place. Okay. यहाँ से तो मैं सारे बर्तन से चीज यहीं से लेते हैं. So there is automatically connection has been built.
Yeah.
So that connection
True.
that connection is actually very important to connect the brand with your audience.
Agree.
If I really think that if we should go for a vernacular, these kind of things, so we can and hire a local celebrities, micro influencers in their languages, so we can change the things. And even in physics wala also we are doing these kind of things, micro influencer that we are hiring, we hire and we do these kind of activities, and we are getting actually very good results in physics wala.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, and thank you so much for touching this very important and very essential point, vernacular language. And now I'm keeping this panel open to discuss, and you all can contribute to anybody's questions. So yes, now I'm going to take, because this was not in my plan, but because Saurabh has touched this point, I first would like to go back to Devarg, because this is something that is related to two things. Vernacular language means you're writing something, and at the same time, your creativity comes into the picture. Both comes together on your ATL and BTL, both the media along with the digital. Now, this is something that triggered in my mind related to Saurabh, your brands only, Physicwala, because a lot of hoardings were there here in Surat. The hoardings were in Gujarati, but the Gujarati was wrong. There was a mistake. Then someone came to me and he said, "Hey, have you seen this?" I said, "Yes, I have seen that." So I asked that person, "What is your opinion?" Then he said that this hoarding is about the education. And if the language is wrong, this is making me confused. So what should I now do? Because although everybody was knowing that the brand is not from Surat, the brand was not from Gujarat, but they tried their best to convince the parents by putting everything in Gujarati. But then the mess up was done by the local agency, and everywhere we could see that grammatical mistake. So, Devar, what is your opinion? How does it affect when you are coming up with the vernacular campaigns in the traditional media? And if something like this happens, that what the brands should take care about? How to make everything integrated together, the different agencies they should integrate it well, so that they can have the proper communication in any language. So Devak, if you have any experiences of yours in the past. And
So,
sorry, Saurabh, to take this question.
first of all, thank you, Saurabh, to actually bring up the vernacular language side of things. Which what is interesting is like it's also about the local language and also about the local culture, right? So one very interesting thing what happened, we like Talented recently did a campaign for Mintra, right, where basically using the light art, we have used Vijay Sethupathiy's famous way of doing the collars in his movies, right, and we have made a light art of Vijay Sethupathi doing this, and we've put it up on a cinema hall right above the cinema hall. And like we have talked about the style of Mintra in Tamil. Now the interesting thing is, we figured out At that time, when we have put Satyapathi's, like style, Dhanush's film is playing in the theaters. Now, what happened? There's a fanboy movement created. Dhanush fan is saying, our film is going on. How can he put Satyapathi's, light art over there? So we also want something of our own. So they put a big poster of Dhanush right beside it, right? So there's one media, another media they have created on their own. Now then there is it gets talked about in the social, like, hey, like, I understand it's your film, but this is his style. And then there is a kind of cult going on, Vijay fans versus Dhanush fans and everything. So it's very interesting how cultural context is is flowing everywhere. Even even the latest Maldives thing and Ease My Trip announcing, right? So there is different cultural context going on everywhere. Now I have seen a lot of Bengali campaigns, done in Calcutta. The problem is when we what happens is you create a TVC, right? And you take that, you create the film and you give it to translators. Ki whatever is written, just translate it. And the problem is, for a writer who is writing in English, the flavor that person can bring in English, the Bengali just translator cannot bring that flavor. You have to give it to a Bengali writer, not a Bengali translator. So the biggest mistake that is happening is whenever we create a media, we give it to translators to translate and put it on the ad. So that's why there's a huge disconnect, right? But the Coca-Cola ad, that the Pujo ad that Ogilvy did recently, it is such a beautiful film, and it has captured the cultural context of Calcutta, not just the language, but the like how we say, like, lad. Lad is a cultural term which is very similar to Goa's susagat. It means the sweetness of doing nothing, right? So how only a Bengali writer can actually know what lad is. So they have put this minor, small, beautiful attention to details thing in their film. So I think going forward, if we are doing vernacular, um, campaigns, we should give it to writers and not just translators. So that is very important. Yeah.
Okay, Vishal, now again, taking this discussion forward with you because you have been the master of mobile marketing and mobile ads. How has been your experience working with the local brands who were a little bit skeptical about going not only digital but specific to the mobile? They were not that much convinced. And you might have seen the brands like Goldie Masala and all that. They're spending a lot of money on TV ad and all. But I have never seen them so aggressive on the social media or any digital platforms. So, do you have any of such experiences in the past with such local brands or the brands who are doing very good in some part of the states or some part of the regions?
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, without sharing names of the brands, because in my experience, again, first my disclaimer: majority of the work that I did at 𝐺𝐭𝐞𝐿, where I got to work with 400 plus brands, majority were very large brands. Having said that, there were few instances of smaller brands. One, like you rightly said, it's kind of hard to convince them to utilize the digital medium within that, specifically mobile advertising, and within that specifically something that I focused on, which was interactive ads on mobile. So convincing them is definitely a challenge because explaining a small brand the value of a branding campaign is hard, right? If you were to tell them performance, they would get it like in a flash of a second, right? But explaining them branding requires a lot of education, requires a lot of hand holding, and that's kind of part of what I spent a lot of time doing, which is educating brands and telling them how it's important to build your brand in addition to doing some bit of performance marketing. I'll take one example of a brand. Uh, this was a small kids clothing brand based out of south of India, and they were like, listen, our average ticket size is about 600 rupees for what we sell. I mean, I have this X amount of money. I mean, since I'm not even the brand, let's say I'm going to put a value, right? I want to spend about 20 lakhs. Now I have two options. I can do performance or I can do branding. Tell me why I should do branding, right? So that, I think, to me was a very, very tough sell where what I think worked for me is sitting with the brand and explaining them that, look, while you can do your performance branding, you're a newer brand. If you don't get any recognition, if people don't know who you are, why will they buy your product, right? How will you build trust in it, right? How do you get people to get emotionally respond to an ad that you put out, for get them to buy from you for something that they may not have heard about or be as aware about, versus a competing quality brand? And so what I kind of did for them is an interactive ad campaign I created for them ensured that users would spend a lot of time engaging with the brand. So the idea that we put in place was, the ad was structured in a sort of a storytelling format where a user played a little bit of a game, engaged with the brand, asked a little question, and then ended up spending on average about 12 seconds on a digital ad, right? Now, when we ran a little bit of a pilot for the brand, they got convinced that, okay, you know what, this kind of makes sense, that people are at least engaging with the brand, not passively viewing it. They're playing with it, spending time with it, and that kind of helped convince and convert them into a customer that again stayed with us for a while.
Okay, so now going back to Divya, because you have your experience working with agencies and you have been a brand strategist as well, you have been a strategist, you have worked in Ogilvy in the strategy and planning. Now, straightforward question to you, what Vishal has just triggered: branding, performance marketing, or both of them together? How has been your experience working with so many brands in the context of the Indian market?
So, what really happens is performance marketing is very outcome driven. You can really measure, you know what you are doing, what you are selling, and it's quite tangible. So, as humans, like will come to us as marketeers, but as humans, we tend to latch on to it because you can see a clear result in output, and everyone who's marketing is a business person. At the end of the day, they want to see some results. So performance marketing becomes something much easy where there's a clear shift and you understand, okay, why do I need to put money? Anyways, largely marketing is the larger ethos is marketing is often seen as an expense function and not as an investment function. So within that larger gamut, then creating branding becomes like, okay, this is quite intangible, why should I invest in it, right? They've got made a very relevant point of translating versus writing. When you are translating, it gets the nuance gets lost in translation, versus when you're actually writing, you're creating for that context, because what is the consumer, what is the context of that, right? And I think largely, and this I've seen, like I've worked with brands from Unilever, and the stature of a Unilever, to a global brand like McDonald's, to very homegrown brands like Sunlight, which only operate in West Bengal as a market, to operating in Kerala as a market, two specific markets in the country, or like really big brands which have a global presence. But the moment you come to regional brands, I was consulting a brand, an agriculture brand based out of Madhya Pradesh, and they want to become a pan India brand. They're talking about something which is known as Santulit Kheti, and it's a interesting, fabulous concept in the larger scheme of things. Because on one hand you have organic farming, and on the other hand you have very chemical laden farming. So they're trying to find a nice balance about these things. So even for these brands which have a very clear direction, very clear purpose, it's always a bit of a chicken and egg problem, right? Because budgets are involved. Now, when you're smaller and you don't have a marketing department and you don't understand the importance of marketing, it seems like a unnecessary problem, or a problem for tomorrow to solve, because you're constantly struggling. And look, this is something which they've you'll also agree with us, at talented, you guys are doing some really cool work. But for any other agency which is starting up, you're always kind of caught up into whether you should take up work which gives you money, or you should take up work which gives you glory. uh, The other day, I was hearing Anselmo, who's the founder of Gut at Soho House in Juhu, and I was just sitting opposite Anselmo and all the other panelists there, and I was hearing him, and somebody had asked the same question, like, how do you pick and choose? And at the core human level, it's the same problem of picking and choosing. Do you pick and choose performance marketing, or do you pick and choose brand? Do you pick and choose a short term goal, or do you pick and choose a long term goal? And we're always often caught in it. And I think, which is why there is a certain degree, and this is what I personally feel, I feel once brands have attained a certain degree of traction, of revenue, only then they should start really focusing on brand building, especially for really small brands.
Okay, so now obviously because we are talking about the branding, we are talking about the performance marketing. So in the context of the search engine, we normally talk about SEO and the Google Ad campaign. So who else can answer better than Saurabh? Saurabh, now what kind of pressure you and your team have in terms of, because now this is the time, this is your season. So in terms of the lead generation activity, and we have seen from the clients, we have observed this, that they are least concerned about the kind of backlinks you are generating or the kind of traffic you are giving to the website. At the same time, what kind of beautiful blogs you are writing or how many keywords you are getting on the top of the SERPs. The only thing that make them happy is kitna mila. So in terms of the leads, in terms of the sales. So how has been your experience and how do you deal with all these things?
Very, very right word that you kitna mila, that actually we as in physics wala, I can tell you we have made a tracking of SEO. It's very hard to track the sales, and just like Divya said, it's a very tangible results from the performance marketing. Even we have made a proper tracking. I cannot do proper tracking 100% accurate, but still, I hardly see that people are tracking the performance and results from the SEO as well. I have hardly seen any agency or any company. Okay, so we have actually made a result, so we are giving a 10x from the SEO. Hardly 10x. I cannot imagine, just like a from a 3 million to 17 million traffic for physics wala in just 6 months when I joined this company from April to till December. And from these kind of SEO strategies, like you said, blogs. So now actually this is a season for a school. So school, so class 6 to 12 is or IIT JEE NEET. IIT JEE NEET. This is the main backbone of the company, that how we have started, and this is the main season that we are working on, and enrolling more and more students. Not only the schools that we are in government exam section, government exam category also, UPSC. We are going on international students as well. And the sir, when he saying writing a blog and how to rank, so nowadays there is a fashion, just like create a AI content and rank is very easy. People, even the content writers are using, copy marketers are using, performance marketers are using to use their ad copies from a chat GPT, using their tags. So I need this kind of, this is my audience, this will create a so I'm very,
It's
very,
the
very,
new, sorry,
yes,
sort of, it's the new viral thing. Like how earlier it was, let's create something viral. It's the new buzzword.
yes, actually, Divya. And I can tell you, I'm enjoying this kind of era of this digital marketing where where things are getting easier. If I will say, do not depend on AI and the blogs, and you can use in content when we are saying in a industry, like I'm taking an example of edtech, a physics wala, an academy textbook, edtech, where people wants a actual real information, that what is the true and accurate, and that is trustworthy. Why people are searching physics wala? Because they trust our branding and trust. This is the only reason that our company has established from a billion-dollar company in just 3 years, in a span of 2 to 3 years, $1 billion. Okay, and now when we are talking about SEO, we have trained the writers and like gave the right information, and we are very very specific about giving the information to the students, and my SEO strategies plays an important role there. Where to place the keyword, where do not. And I can tell you that people are using AI content, but still I am a advocate of AI content in a edtech sorry, human written content in a edtech industry. So, and funniest thing is that we actually don't, as a person, as your Rana, Saurabh Rana, I don't trust on the backlink also. Without creation of backlinks from a 3 million to 17 million that we have generated traffic in for the physics wala. So these are the things that we are working, and things are going good. So just like you say, content and keywords, so we do not need to overstuff the things. Just be a natural. They hear your team, your writers should be smart enough to play with the psyche. And the same thing, kitna mila. So same thing, we are selling our product and online courses, because why we are giving information to them, because the people should come again and again, because physics wala is giving the right and true information at the right time, and they should buy our courses from our website. So we are giving the CTA, right? CTA is also that these are the buy online, need online coaching courses in this blah 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 blah, and in X price like this. We are the best. So we are doing that thing also. So here, not only the SEO, pure SEO written content or a pure wo. So we are have integrated the commercial intent in our content, commercial intent. So with the proper CTA. So this is how we are working, and things are going very smooth and getting good results from SEO.
It is said that the SEO people are the most optimistic people in the marketing industry because they still expect everything after doing that. Business aa jaye, धंधा मिल जाए, कुछ भी हो जाए. Because a few months back, I was in Bangalore and I was discussing the same thing over a few industry experts over the table of dinner, and we had the same discussion that how people are seeing to the SEO thing, and the answer was straightforward. They want money, they want business. The SEO person, if you can generate the business, you are good enough. If you are not be able to generate the business, okay, bye bye, tata, goodbye. So that was the thing. But yeah, it is very interesting. They were because I heard this discussion point that Divya said and what Saurav said. I was thinking about the attention span, right? It is all about the attention span. So today in the noon, I was I was with one of the trainers. He came from Goa to Surat, and we had a kind of informal discussion and the kind of training session also. And what he said that even in the training field, the first 1 minute is very important to grab the attention of the audience. If you are not able to grab the attention in the first minute, then throughout the day, you are never going to get that attention, the kind of attention that you seek from your attendees. Now, I was happy because he said 1 minute you have. Now, we, as a digital marketers, specifically in the field of social media, we crave for that 2-3 seconds. So now I just want to understand, because from your side, as a creative lead, in this age of very short attention span, how can these creative designs elements you can optimize so that you can capture that audience attention, and not only capture, but as a brand, from the brand's perspective, you also want to retain. You need to keep retaining that. So how do you work on this aspect?
So there's a very interesting thing going on right now. In every client meeting, we are hearing that there is a rise of admin voice. So this obviously comes from how Zomato and Swiggy, these people talk on social media. Uh, so basically make your brand into a persona, right? Bring the admin voice more, make people believe that at the end of the day there's an admin behind, you know, the marketing
Just
that
like
is
a
going on.
just like a big boss.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So they're all trying to achieve this admin voice. Even if you see right now, like if you see 1 year ago how Google India was communicating versus how they're communicating now, you will see more human elements in their post. One person is holding a page with a handwritten format of the Google email, like UI, Google Gmail UI is been sketched and written on a paper, right? So these kind of elements you will see more and more. Uh, the, so what brands are essentially trying to do is not get too far away from the creators, right? So because what they are seeing is people more and more are just looking at creators. If Britannia, posts a picture of a biscuit with a social media post, it's not getting that much attention as compared to a creator just dancing on a video. So how do we compete in a world of creators? How do brand come into the picture? So what they do is you get that creator to dance with the biscuit in your hand. So this is what people are going to doing more and more. But the point is to stay true to the brand as well, not just randomly do things. So the attention thing is that we still binge watch like hours and hours of TV, Netflix. So the attention span is not gone. It's just focused into that one doom scrolling, culture that is going on. For example, BlendJet is a brand. What they do, all they do in YouTube is take different kind of materials, put it on the blender, and see if this is getting blended or not. That is all they do, right? For looking at this, Volvo figured out, hey, we are a brand that talks about safety. With like when you think Volvo, you always think safe. All these brands are trying to capture that one adjective. Porsche is fast, Volvo is safe, Range Rover is off-road. So they're all trying to capture that one adjective. So looking at BlendJet, Volvo, what they're doing? They're putting all the videos of their car safety, practices on YouTube. So you can actually see a car getting crashed with a dummy inside, and they're putting out these videos because at the end of the day, safety is their motto, and they're actually doing it. And then people are watching randomly, like cars getting crushed day and night. So this is a very interesting thing how creativity is constantly evolving. There is a very small store that I've seen talking about Goa, and they weren't getting any attraction on Instagram, right? They figured out, why don't we use our cat? So they made their cat into a store manager, and and started making content around that using a pet, and they got a lot of followers, a lot of views. So I think 2024 will be again interesting because creativity has to be taking a forefront here, because we don't know what works, honestly.
But they were
So
now
yeah,
this is again with the experiences of all of us, maybe that
yeah,
when we work with the brands, there are a lot of brands specific to the D2C brands. They are very much optimistic about the role of the reels and the shorts.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we understand the reels and the shorts when it comes into the picture. See, as a digital creator, it is easier for us to get that attention because you're not representing a brand, but you're representing yourself as a creator. You can be a
right.
dancer, you can be an actor. But how challenging it is for all the creative people to do something for the brand while they're creating these reels and the shorts.
No, it is challenging because like it is a very murky space right now. The reason is, one is brand safety, right? We saw Ambuja Cement do a collaboration with the great Khali, right? Swiggy also. But now if you go and see Khali's page, it's kind of like it is not brand safe anymore. So you just don't know what's gonna backfire onto you and what. So that's why all the brands haven't, the legacy brands, especially Pidilite, Britannia, Parley, they haven't gone all out into the admin voice thing, using a lot of content creators, as opposed to if you see Swiggy and Zomato, they use a lot of content creators. So if your company is listed on the share market, you're less likely to use content, lot of content creators, right? Geo never uses content creators. So that is why it is a murky space, but it is evolving. What brands are doing is they're letting one segment of their product as an experimentation. Like for example, Britannia is highest selling is Jim Jam, Mari, Good Day. Over there, they will do the brand safety thing, but they have, let's say, a product which is like the like a newer product which is not into the market as much as Biscafe, if you say, right? It's a newer product, so they'll say, you know what, we're going to experiment a few creative things with Biscafe. So I think this is a good way to let one of your sister PSU or brand to experiment the creative side while you maintain the purity in the higher selling PSUs and stuff in your brand. So that is what I think should happen. Yeah.
Vishal, I just carry forward this discussion from Devar to you, although this is not related to digital creator, but I was just thinking about the role of the individual, right? Now, you have been the representative of your brand. Now you are building a new brand. And we keep talking and we keep listening about the role of the personal branding. Believe me, this is my personal opinion that personal branding has changed what we were talking about this 2 or 3 years back. And now, when we are talking about the personal branding, the things have literally changed. But I just want to understand your perspective, how important or how essential it can be when somebody who is leading the brand, his or her branding is very important. And at the same time, you have to also focus on your company's brand, how challenging and how important both the things if you need to do it together.
Wow. So I think for me, I think where it starts is most people don't understand personal brand, right? They think, let me just amass a few followers on LinkedIn, maybe Instagram, and hey, my personal brand is built. I think where the realization you start is that your personal brand is the perception others have of you, based on your ideas, your expertise, your reputation, your personalities, your values, and your vision. Right? That's what really makes a personal brand, and then that is something you want to carry forward to your business. Right? Now, uh, once you even get that meaning of personal brand, carrying it to your business is hard, because again, something fundamental I think people don't realize is what do people want, right? uh, Once you know that people really want authenticity and connection, right, that's when you can carry forward that personal brand into your business brand. So it's important to know that people want to see the faces behind the logos. They want to hear the stories. They want to feel the passion. That's how a personal brand can really shine for the business. Now, I'll give an example. Now, imagine a CEO hosting an insightful Twitter thread, or the founder sharing behind the scenes adventures on YouTube, or for that matter, even an influencer showcasing your product benefits with some genuine enthusiasm. And that's how you kind of like work for yourself and work with someone else together. Now again, imagine that CEO collaborating with that influencer and then promoting the brand. We've seen how Piyush Bansal is part of Lenskart's ads, right? He's built out of his personal brand on Shark Tank, and he's carried it forward on TV. And then he continues building that trust by having a Karan Johar inside his ad campaign, right? He's building that emotional bond that Karan Johar brings out. Rather, he's showcasing some emotions through making Karan Johar act and do things that you wouldn't sort of expect Karan Johar to do through the ad campaign, right? But again, uh, the challenge needs to be addressed in two specific ways, in my opinion. Part of this I differ in my point of view with Devar, which is one is you want to definitely choose your right brand ambassador, right? Somebody that embodies your values, that resonates with the target audience. Now, it could be the CEO, it could be someone else, it could be a joint thing, but someone who, I guess, share that commitment to quality. The other piece, what I would want is the brand uh, to support the voice of whoever they choose to represent them, right? You want to empower them to share a unique perspective. You want people to co-create. You want to be those authentic champions of the brand. Because only when done right, that personal branding won't remain a marketing tactic. It becomes a win-win partnership, right? Where you as the CEO of a brand, or your business itself, when you're carrying forward that marketing, right, which Zomato does really, really well today. They don't necessarily talk about selling food directly, but through the content that they create, they promote it very subtly. They engage with the audience. They build that emotional connect, which ultimately builds Zomato as a lot more powerful brand, again, in my opinion, than its competitor, right? So it's that powerful synergy that builds that loyal community and drives sustainable success for a brand. When you truly understand what your branding is, where does it take you, and then you have a vision behind it, right? You just don't keep amassing followers. You need a right strategy behind it. And like I said, you understand what customers want, which is that authenticity and connection.
Vishal, how have you planned your personal brand this year, and that can help not only you but your brandsprec.com as well?
Great. So for me, I am doing two things. Wouldn't want this to be public, but again, I do want to be very open and honest. Uh, for me, I'm at a stage where for my new startup, which I formally launched in August of last year, my goal is one, to raise funding for the company, right? And second piece is attracting more and more audiences on the platform from the marketing domain, right? Now, what I'm trying to do for myself is, when I am on any of these platforms, by the way, LinkedIn continues to be primary for me for the kind of audiences I want to attract and engage with. Uh, I have very two clear focuses, which is marketing and entrepreneurship. So I will constantly identify great content pieces where I have had a personal learning. I'll pick those pieces. Now, these could come from news stories, it could come from podcasts, it could come through conversations like these where I've learned something new. I kind of go dig deeper if there is something more than just like a simple one liner lesson. So I'd pick up the topic, uh, get into a little bit of research, sort of like a journalist, but again, just putting in like 0.5% of the effort of what a journalist would do. uh, Pick the key meat items out of that, super simplify the story, and then put it out on my LinkedIn with kind of few consistent hashtags, keeping sometimes long tail hashtags, sometimes like uh, very short generic ones like marketing and entrepreneurship. And I use few of those and continue promoting my content in a way that helps me build one, followership, but more importantly helps me build credibility, which I learn when I do my in-person or private chats with the folks who are on my LinkedIn connection network, where they tell me that, hey, I read about this, that was pretty insightful. That was a very interesting story. I don't think I would have heard about it if it was not for you, because I often pick stories from around the world, not just India. Uh, which again, most of my peers or people in my network may not necessarily be actively researching or coming across or discovering. So when I pick some of these unique stories that resonates with the audience, and then they start perceiving me as someone who's an expert in marketing, right? And then more recently, which is maybe from for about a year or so, I started picking such stories in the entrepreneurship domain, right? Because I wanted to build my network with VCs, with angels. So I started picking some of those topics where there was a lesson for other entrepreneurs, where potentially VCs, if they were to come across my content, they will identify that, you know what, Vishal knows quite a few things about these things. Maybe he's a good entrepreneur. Let's have a chat with him. So that's the goal that I'm operating with. Have had partial success in the journey, but again, it's not done till it's done. But these are the two ways that I'm kind of approaching my personal brand on social media for building my marketplace business.
Okay, and so we will be looking forward to it, how you are building your personal brand, and maybe we all can learn from it and we can start doing the same thing. Uh, Now let's move to Divya. Divya, this question just again triggered in my mind, and I just thought to ask you, because this the controversy what Devarg also talked about, the Lakshadweep and the Maldives. So we see this kind of topical spot and the moment marketing thing a lot And right now, what we are seeing that is my trip has been on the forefront to leverage that the sentiment of the Bharatiya people. So, what's your point on that? Like how this kind of things help the brands. If you remember, this again happened with Paytm few years back during the demonetization time, and Paytm at that time came with a very similar kind of campaign coming on the front page of the newspapers nationally, and this is what now is my trip has also done. So, Divya, what's your point on that? How can these things backfire to the brands in the long period of time, or do you believe that this will give that spark to the brand, and they should leverage? What's your point on that?
So, if I got it right, one part you mentioned about Lakshadweep and another about Paytm. And what I missed the Ease My Trip context.
Yeah, so
Can
is my trip came forward. The firstly that they stopped all the bookings, the flight bookings and hotel bookings in Maldives, and they understood the sentiment of the Indian audience, and people literally praised their initiatives. And now in the last 1 or 2 days, they gave the front page advertisements and the leading newspapers all across the nation, I suppose, and they are coming up with some discount rates where you can literally book in Lakshadweep and not in Maldives.
Right. Okay. So again, like I believe in simplifying things and coming to the brass tacks. So if we look at it as people, we get influenced by things and we act on certain things, irrespective of the influence and other factors, we sorry. So I'll so the Ease My Trip thing, right? Uh, Country's PM is the biggest influencer at the moment, right? The amount of mass following, the amount of ethos, it's somebody who cuts across cohorts and age groups. We spoke a lot about vernacular language, regional language, English, right? So Mr. Modi cuts across the English medium and the Hindi medium and the vernacular medium, right? And rightly so. We are a country of like so many people, so he obviously becomes the biggest influencer in that sense. Now, I think from a larger socio-economic and political point of view, I think it's a really great move because you're creating Lakshadweep as an alternative destination. And of course, we know in terms of, the larger political context, what's happening in the Maldives and why India wouldn't want people to go to the Maldives and all of that. So we'll not get into the politics, the geopolitics of the larger piece at the moment. And so Lakshadweep becomes a very lovely alternative destination. And that kind of fuels a larger trend and shift where the search query for Lakshadweep as a destination went up. The uh, like for snorkeling, the search queries went up a lot because you've created that intrigue in people's minds. So people would do that. Now, I've not seen this specific Ease My Trip ad.
So I'm just
And
sharing. I'm just sharing. If
great.
you can see
So
on the
you,
screen, this is
you,
the Economic Times front page.
right. So it's I think it's an interesting ad to add on to the national sentiment and drive and create a lot more chatter around your brand. But imagine, as a Ease My Trip consumer, hypothetically I was a Ease My Trip consumer and I had a diving trip planned to the Maldives. I'd gone to Maldives last year for scuba diving. Now imagine if I had a diving trip planned in the upcoming months, irrespective of the national chatter, irrespective of my nationalism, irrespective of my sentiments, I've worked and I've earned that trip. Unless there are political sanctions and I cannot go to the country, I would not want a brand to do that. And the brand's lost a loyal customer in the larger shift in narrative of sentiments and trends and analytics. So we look at data without context. Data has to be contextualized, data has to be humanized. Yes, anti Maldives sentiments might be running high, but at a customer level, at a core deep level, we don't say what we state, right? And we don't state what we intend. So people are complex beings. Is My Trip putting up a great plan and canceling my trip? It has no right to do that as a brand. And obviously it will get a lot of chatter, but how much of it will it translate to business?
If you see the latest news, fortunately or unfortunately, their stock is up 11%. At times, it rallied close to 20% as well. So, like I said, most people loved it. Of course, there'll be few who strips if cancel. I believe that's not the case though. They haven't canceled; they just stopped accepting new bookings. But I'm
Well,
sure those who were in the process of planning or have partially planned it would
mm.
definitely be unhappy with some of these changes that the company is bringing about.
See, I mean, I'm not very privy to what Ease My Trip did. So if they've stopped new bookings, that's great, because then you're giving the consumer a reason to divert to a new booking, which is completely fine.
No, I
I'm
just want to
glad
add,
you
Divya,
have
sorry,
answered.
I'm interrupting you because I have been following this incident from the very first day. And on the contrary to the Make My Trip side, people started expecting Make My Trip to do the same thing. And because it was the Chinese-led company, they did not come forward. And you know the sentimental sentiments of the people, even including myself, like I just thought that why Make My Trip is not coming forward, because it is something that the nation first, like what Is My Trip is saying. So now the one step taken by one brand in the name of the leveraging that particular moment, people are expecting or pressurizing the other brands to follow the same. So this is
Yeah, I
something strange. Like
agree. There is
if
a
you
lot
try,
of mirroring. Sorry, I mean, yeah, just adding to what you said, Bhatik, I think you're right, because there's a lot of mirroring effect which happens, right? One brand sees another brand do it, and you do want to jump onto the bandwagon.
Devar, if you want to add something to this, the counter, because obviously again you might I can see that you are following this thing, and if
Yeah.
you have to add some point to it.
So the interesting thing is like who is it serving and all right. Like for example, there's a Taj in Maldives, and that's Indian brand. So if people are not going to Taj, then Indians are missing on businesses, right? So, but it's interesting. It is interesting because Ease My Trip did it. They needed to be on the map, and when it comes to Clear Trip, Make My Trip, Go Ibibo, when it comes to the big players, they are not in the map right now. And leveraging the PR, I think it's great. Honestly, I think it is great because they don't have the kind of brand baggage that Make My Trip and Clear Trip has. Right? They have a lot of baggage, but Ease My Trip compared to that, they don't have that baggage. They don't have a legacy of 10, 15 years, so they can do this. They can do the stunt kind of things. Right? Even if tomorrow Clear Trip wants to do right, this kind of thing, they won't get a green light because there's a lot to lose. There's a lot of investors, there's a lot of celebrities that they endorse, so there's a lot to lose. For Ease My Trip, there isn't a lot to lose, there's only a lot to gain. So for them it actually makes sense. If you see a few years back, even Sedona Health did took a dig at Dove, I think, about their pH, um, uh, you know
Yes,
acidity. Yeah,
yes, yes.
Sedona Health can afford to do it. Dove cannot afford to do it. Right? So I think for Ease My Trip, it makes sense. For Make My Trip, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense, but they shouldn't go for it. There's a lot to lose. So that is what I think. For this
So
time,
I think the brand position plays a very vital role,
yeah,
that whether to come forward or to stay back and uh, let the topic settle down. And now we are seeing that after 2, 3, 4 days, the topic
yeah,
is being getting settled down. So
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 great,
I
great
think
Bhavik,
they
discussion.
just use it as a moment
I
marketing
just
opportunity, and then I'm
I just
sure
want
in
to
like
add
6 months' time
this.
they will. Sorry.
I just want to add here. This is the thing is that movement marketing. If I say that what is important for a brand, whether it's a positive, whether it's a negative, whether you are appreciating them, whether you are criticizing them, it's about the brand mention. So people, how they, the kind of activities, any marketing activity that we are doing for a chatter, we are doing for gossips, we are doing the word of mouth to increase the word of mouth. It doesn't matter nowadays that it's a positive or negative. Okay. Another thing is that whole nation, whole world is talking about that incident is happened. And Narendra Modi is one of the biggest influencer and the personal brand in India till now. Not in India, I can say in the world as well. He's the largest following, social media following. Crores of people are following him. Another thing is that I am taking an example, just like Bhautik said, Paytm is one of the best example. Apart from this, I want to add one more thing. Amul. Amul, whenever, whatever, is there any kind of people are talking about the whole India is talking about something, just like the ISRO Chandrayaan has happened. So Amul, because they knows that it doesn't matter that is against or positive, that whole India is talking about. Amul will come in a very special creative. Their creatives are already ready, and they always come with the very right time. So if this is my personal opinion, if a brand is coming in these kind of controversial discussion or controversial this happening, and they take a stand, that is also very is okay for a brand point of view. And the initial reaction has been seen on a very next day, just like Vishal has said, 11% stock of the Ismail trip has been increased. So and people and the step of the one brand has been created a pressure on another step also, another brand also make my trip. So these are the so and I have used my Ease My Trip also. Ease My Trip prices are actually very cheaper and better than MMT. So I really like that they have taken a one stand, and they have created a personal ethos. They have stick on that, because vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat or made in India, these are the campaigns that made. Have you seen a animal movie? There is a one big gun was the Marathi guy come and say, सोचा दिल्ली में बनाया मुंबई में लेके आए यहाँ पे complete आत्मनिर्भर भारत. So this is how these kind of campaigns are creating impact. Actually, this is a very interesting that people this like again that vernacular local regional. So people should and brand should come on these kind of things. They should come and create their clear their stand, and trust me, this will help them in a longer run. If the Paytm never does that Paytm single page ad on that day in a demonetization, Bhautik will never say today. After a 4, 5, 7 years ago, after 7 years ago, they have done. They have created a brand recall. Even after 7 or 8 years, also Bhautika has a brand recall of that. It's not your performance marketing. It's not a single SEO or any kind of marketing had created that kind of larger impact. The most important thing for any brand that created a larger impact in the audience, in a general audience, because we are nowadays is a D2C brand, D2C trend. We are so much talking about D2C e-commerce. What is D2C? If a customer is not connected to your brand in any way, any means any way, then how you can survive for a longer run? This is my thing, and I really love this discussion. There is a very good thing, whatever the thing is happening, and I really love this. Thank you for this.
By the way, let me tell you that Saurabh is a beloved SEO person throughout India, and he has a big fan following. I am seeing that. Perfect. Vishal, you wanted to say something. I think you are on mute, Vishal.
Sorry, I think I just want to add that what Ease My Trip did was great moment marketing, but I'm pretty sure, given business dynamics, they will open up Maldives bookings in 6 months. Right? It's just a marketing tactic and a great one that they've deployed, but business will demand that they open up those bookings soon.
So I'll just add one thing.
Yes,
I'd missed
please.
out the Ease My Trip ad today, and I was looking on the side when we were talking. Turns out the Maldives hotels are still listed on the website, and the flight bookings are banned. And I'm really glad to know that people who have already done their bookings are not cancelled, because that would have been a major brand kill move.
Okay, so I think this is a great case study, and we can have a lot of discussion on this case study going on, and that is how the 2024 has started. Now coming back to our point, and now we still have 10-15 minutes. Then we'll take a couple of questions from the audience. Let me move to Devak. Devak, again, my mind keep talking. My mind is keep asking me this question whenever we discuss about our clients' content and their expectation from the agency in terms of coming out kuch naya lao kind of thing, right? And when such things happen, now let me give you an example. Yesterday, the Surat has been declared as the cleanest city of India, and now we are in Surat, right? And what do you expect from the clients that we have to come immediately with some creatives? So we came to know somewhere around in the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and we did not have time. We have to come out with some creative idea, and we have to just create, and we have to, take the approval from the client, and we have to post it. So how to deal with this kind of challenges? Because creativity is never time bound. And you cannot say that you have to come with some creative ideas in next 15 minutes or next 30 minutes. How to deal with this kind of challenges?
I'm not the moderator. Can I add to the question?
Arey
Your
yaar,
deadline was
please,
yesterday.
Huh?
Your deadline for that campaign was yesterday.
Yeah, it is.
Their work is getting briefed on a Surat PR as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of uh, real, right? Like what you just said is what happens every other day over here. Um, uh, what's two things, right? First, when we're talking about agencies, you'll notice that every agency has their own IP. Okay. Um, by that I mean, if you are, let's say, Amul, or if you are, let's say, Red Label, the first thing you will choose is, let's go to a place like Ogilvy and McCann, Lentas. The reason is this: people have existed for a long time, and the relationship that they have built with client is insane. And like, people are married into client and agency, like, literally. If you go, like, Ogilvy's creative director is married to the brand manager of Colgate. So you will see relationship like that exists within these agencies. So when you have to come, so what is the word mainline comes from? It's like the agency that gives the main line. It's literally that, right? Like, dag achhe hai. That is what the agency's job is. So when it comes to places like,
Devak, I just want to interrupt here. Are you unmarried?
yeah,
So, all the best for whatever brands you're working with.
thank
And
you.
we are expecting a new story come from your side. Please carry on.
Yeah. So, matlab, that is the thing, right? So these people have completely different relationships. Ogilvy can afford to work on a campaign for 2 months. We cannot. By that, if like there, if there is a newer agency, the brief is completely different. It's like, okay, mainline agency has given the line. Now they are doing the major TVC campaign. Now you do the spike idea. They can have 2 months. You have 2 days, right? So how do you do it? So I think it depends on which agency you are completely. And when it comes to the Surat campaign, I'm sure, like, Ogilvy or McCann, they will come up with the jingle to do that, and we will come up with what we can do on social, what we can do on print and billboards. But the shift is changing, right? The shift is changing as independent agencies are taking the forefront, famous innovations, talented. We are doing more and more storytelling driven campaigns, TVCs. So uh, the biggest thing is trust, like building the trust with the client, and another thing is building the taste of the client. We have a practice where what we do is, every week we collect the best campaigns around the world, interviews around the world, and we make a nice PDF and we send it to the client, showing them this is how great work looks like, right? this is what this brand did in the US, this is what this brand did in the UK, and we send it to them. And they also come back and they also discuss. So the best way to maintain taste is show them what good taste look like, and also discuss with them about the campaign. Don't treat them as just clients who is giving you brief. Bring them into discussions. If you are having a brainstorm, after 2 3 brainstorm, call the client and, you know what, we want to bounce some ideas off. What do you think? So the more involved the client feels, the more that client wants to be creative with you as well. So I think the mainline agencies have cracked that way before in the 90s, how to involve them in the pitches, get them, throw off ideas. Digital agencies shouldn't work in silos. They should work with the client very closely, and they should learn from the giants that were before them, right? So I think that is how we can close the deadline gap. Yeah.
I think it's also about the
Okay, but
expectation
yes,
mapping, right? Unfortunately, people think that digital can be turned around today, right? Versus non-digital, oh, it takes so many days and weeks of planning. That is, I think, something, if that expectation mapping is better defined, will help us digital folks.
I
Yeah,
personally believe,
please.
Vishal, that there's a lot of scope of research.
Yeah.
And I expect the universities and the academic institutions should come forward to do all this kind of, the research that is the need of the time. Because when you see to the working professionals like what we are, we can see that a lot of gaps are there, and we want to know the answers. And I think this all are the subjects of the research. And I keep asking my fellow academicians, the friends, and I ask them, why don't you carry out with such research topics? So this is again, I think I can expect, or I can ask you people also, if you can push something in this direction, in the research direction, and we all can share the data with each other, and we can know a lot of many things about it.
So one thing how Vishal is saying was saying about the digital thing. We actually shot our own foot, right? The moment we said 30 posts a month, the moment we said 5 tweets a month, we shot ourselves in the foot, because the metric is now the numbers. The quality went out of the window. So we kind of did it to ourselves, like, you know. But I think that is changing. So it's interesting to see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, now I'll go to some technical question, and I think this can be. Uh, we are now moving on towards the end of the session, but this question is obviously for Saurabh. Saurabh, the question is, as you can expect, it is of SEO, and I just want to know very quickly from your side that how the brands should see to SEO in terms of the technical part of the SEO, and in terms of the role of the AI that is now integrated a lot with the algorithms. So how do you see SEO in 2024?
Issue in 2024 is basically, if you will ask from me, whether it's 2024, 25, or 23, I will say the website with a more technical SEO friendly. If they're following the best practices of the technical SEO, with the Google is saying, if they are regularly updating their content, if they are regularly giving the best content to the users, they can win the game. Okay, and another thing is that it just depends upon the industry to industry as well, where AI is using, where AI, where you cannot use the AI thing. But I will say, AI, you can use your AI as a assistant, or as a as a assistant, or as a helper in your marketing activities. Just like, I can say, majority of the off-page work, I'm just giving you an example where majority of the off-page work content that you can create for the off-page work, you can create from the AI tools. You cannot, I don't recommend that you use the AI content for your main website. And side by side, your brand should know that how. And just like you're saying, the two things, I also say to my team that there is a no 100% SEO friendly website in the world. There is a no. Even I can find the flaws from the Google site as well. Okay, I personally find the flaws from the Neil Patel website and ping to him just like these are the negative things from your website. He said, "Oh, okay, I will correct it." Okay, actually I did this from Neil Patel website. So there is a no 100% SEO friendly website. So SEO people should know what are the hotfixes, priority one, which can directly blockers. We need to first own the blockers. Okay. So your SEO work should not. And then another thing is improvements. What are the enhancements that you can do in the future? Okay. And technical things here, your your SEO leader should know all the technical things and he or she can incorporate those things to her in a monthly or quarterly plan with the sit with the technical team. And here a role of the technical team, tech and product team plays a very important role. And when you are seeing a brand, I will strongly recommend to all the brands that if you are focusing on SEO in future, when you are creating a brand, when you are creating a website, then you integrate your SEO things in your website. Once you create the website, then you want to do results from the SEO. Then SEO person comes, no, these are the 10 things are not compatible with SEO guidelines. These are the not compatible with things. So you need to create XML sitemap. You need to do footer changes. So these are the very on ground practical challenges that brands and the SEO team both faces. So I will recommend that whenever the brands wants to add their SEO as a marketing strategy activity in the longer run or shorter run, they see how much they want to spend also. Just like there's a technical course, technical team, technical product and technical hours that also costs to the company. Just like if we are a bandwidth, they are giving a 50 hours or 100 or that cost to the company. So these are also metrics that we need to focus while working on the SEO. And here, strategy from a SEO person and an SEO leader plays an important role. They should give a clear roadmap to the tech and product. They should give a clear roadmap to their top level organization. They should give a clear roadmap to their down the line team also, that these are your KRAs. In the next 3 months we have to do this. In the next 6 months you can expect from us, like these kind of things. Therefore strategy is plays an important role, where AI comes, where tech things come. So these are the challenges that we will face. So like this.
Okay, so now why only to talk about AI in search engine? This question is for both of you, Devarg and Divya. One by one, I think you can answer, because now people have started talking about this CGI ads, and we have seen that the rise of the CGI ads is increasing, and even the local brands have start asking about how to work and what is the cost about CGI ads. So, what's your opinion? How CGI ads are going to help both in OH and on digital platform? Divya, if you can start from your point, and then Devak, you can add on this.
So I think CGI and AI will be a game changer for 2024. I mean, when internet came about, it changed the way we live, the way we behave, the way we do things. And what AI has simply done is it's removed the technicality and put easier tools in the hands of people. So if you know what you want, you can use AI to your advantage as, your assistant, your helper, your partner, whatever you may want to call it, and you can really use it to your advantage and do that. It's also created a lot more democratization, right? So say somebody like me who's a strategist, I can write, but I cannot use an illustrator. I cannot sketch. So if I have an idea, I can give it a brief the same way I brief a creative person, and there can be some sort of an output created. Of course it cannot replace a good creative person, right? But it can still do the job of someone. It's like a pyramid, right? You can use AI interestingly to and it's also a degree of variance, I feel. Sometimes AI and tools like Mid Journey, Dali, Chat GPT, they will create something which is fabulous. You look at it and you're like, wow, this I'd not thought of it, and you're very very intrigued by the output which gets created. Um, there was one post I remember which said, write a very short story, and Chat GPT wrote a 4 word story, baby's shoes never worn. And you look at that and you're like, oh my god, it's a heart wrenching story. It's a very short story, and in 4 words it just conveys so much. And there are other times they tend to write just from anything and everything. So I think it depends on how you are using it. It's definitely going to change what we see, how we see. Already in agencies we are seeing that spec ads are getting created. So what you want to convey, it's become much easier. Earlier how there would be a concept or a mood board, now you have an image rendered using say Mid Journey, and it's making that idea translation much easier. And sometimes it's so good it's also becoming the end product.
Devak?
No, that's a really good take on how AI is changing. What is interesting is we call it machine learning for a reason, right? Because the AI that you have, your Chat GPT, is very different from my Chat GPT. So if you look at a non-writer's Chat GPT, and if you look at a writer's Chat GPT, there's a huge difference. That means at the end of the day, you still have to be a writer. There's no escaping that. What I think from an analogy perspective is uh, having a Chat GPT is like driving a truck, right? The job of the truck driver is not to just drive the truck. They have to check the load, talk to the cops, pay the FASTag guys, and then go. So I think in marketing, it's going to take the same kind of role, right? It's going to make our job quicker in terms of finding data strategies, but we still have to be writer. We still have to be better. There's no escaping. But as a creator, I'm kind of scared where it is going, because there is no ethics or any laws on AI yet. For example, like the baby shoes, Divya, that you gave example of, it is actually like a shorter story written by Ernest Hemingway. Right now, what can happen is AI takes a part of it and joins another part of it and shows you. So if you are a writer, if you are a writer, your work can get plagiarized very easily through AI. So I think in order for AI to be in the creative segment, into the marketing, world, we need to give some kind of rules and regulations to how we control plagiarism, and how we control wrongful data and everything. But it is very interesting how it is taking shape. But about the CGI ads now, I will come. There is two ways to do it. One is you can make it into a toy, and in agency world, there's always a toy, right? At first, it was metaverse. Now there is CGI, right? These toys are used to make sense of the client's money. For example, you know what? Okay, the retainer is 5 lakh a month. Uh, we can't. What if we don't make 30 posts this time? What if we make like 5 posts and we give you 3 AI generated CGI ads, right? And then it becomes a new toy for the agency to play with. Now the problem is they will do the CGI for the sake of CGI, but not for the sake of idea. As opposed to, if you see
Right.
what Maybelline has done with the eyelashes and the train going, there is an idea to it. But
Yeah,
every
yeah.
other yeah, but every other CGI ad is now putting some product in the India Gate and the stadium. We can understand what is happening. They're making sense of the client's money.
I have seen the maximum helicopters flying on the CGI, and helicopters
Yeah,
are getting the bags and the shoes and everything in the name of the
yeah,
CGI.
So I have
exactly.
a question. Also, we have a new guest on our panel.
We have just said hi to her.
I,
Hi. Hi, say hi. So I have a question, like the Maybelline ad, right? The moment you see it somewhere, if you are not involved in the creation of that ad, you are not very sure what happened. And as a
Exactly.
consumer, a lot of times you see, how do you feel people react? And that's a question to all of us. How do people react when they see it? Like, because it's also blurring the lines of what's real and what's imagined. Um,
Yeah.
True.
how do you see that pan out and play?
When I'll put my points first, because when I saw that particular ad, I like the creativity, but I don't know whether it will trigger me to buy that product or not. So I'm very clear about all the CGI. I like that. Oh wow, superb. But then next one, am I going to buy that? I'm not sure. So there are so many factors come all together in making me, decide that yes, now I should buy this product. So this is what I feel.
The saddest advertising is when it impresses everyone but the buyer. So, uh, yeah.
It's meant for the LinkedIn cohort, is it?
Yeah. A lot of it is meant for the LinkedIn card.
So right now that going on, there's Gabbar Singh, two different Gabbar Singh LinkedIn. The meme is going on. But Vishal, we want to understand your point as well in terms of this generative AI, because now you started your new venture, and in the past also you have worked with AI. So how do you see to it, this generative AI?
I mean, I'm going to give the marketing context on that very directly because that is in my limited experience, what I've used. I think there is a lot of potential for generative AI to help with marketing strategies. I'll relate this with something I did as an ad campaign. This may go back to 2018, perhaps. Um, I created an ad for Idea Telecom, where again this was the first pre-merger between Vodafone and Idea, where inside the ad creative we had Malika Dua as a brand ambassador of Idea, entertaining questions from audiences about the 4G network and 4G speeds. I forget the exact context of the ad, but it's something about how 4G, everyone can quickly record something in 4G using video and then share it with their network, right? So be truthful, don't do shady stuff. That was part of the context messaging. So what the ad campaign did was when you come across and choose to engage with the ad, you would see Malika Dua pop up on the screen and she would take live questions from the audience, right? Which is the users were talking into the phone and asking Malika Dua questions that, hey, what's the benefit of 4G? Or how old are you? Are you married? All sorts of questions that you and I would ask a Siri, people would ask Malika Dua, and Malika Dua had all answers ready. This was millions of users asking Malika Dua questions in real time. Obviously, it wasn't Malika Dua, right? It was a bunch of pre-recorded videos, some standardized answers, a little bit of AI that helped decipher what is the person asking, what's the meaning of that question, do we have a relevant answer sort of in the bank, what can we get Malika to say, and in absence of a relevant answer or standardized template response that Malika can say something like हाँ ये तो आप किसी और को भी पूछ सकते, ये तो आप गूगल को पूछ सकते हो, मुझे कुछ और पूछो, right? So all sorts of scenarios, pre-planned, identified, answered. Again, at that time, the tech was limited to understanding the question the users asked and what's the right answer. We can have Malika Dua speak based on several pre-recorded videos. Moving forward, that changes, right? Now, instead of relying on a smaller bank of answers, you can literally have any celebrity answer literally any question and give great answers backed by content from generative AI. Right? We've seen a lot of deep fakes. Now, you put it together for great use, you've got a winning campaign. Of course, if everyone starts doing it, it loses its charm. But if it's done creatively, I think still hundreds of people can use it to promote what they have to promote. So I definitely see immense potential, and I'm going to hope and pray that it's not misused and it's used for the right reasons.
So I have a question, Vishal. What
Mhm.
would you train this AI on?
Okay, let's go back to the Idea Telecom use case, right? Now, that particular campaign was promoting ideas 4G speeds and how you want to record videos quickly of some wrongdoing that you're witnessing. Right? Now, that was part of the campaign. Of course, Malika Dua is now telling people how to use video and stop the wrongdoing. Of course, she's not focusing on the 4G speed. That's an implicit message that is being conveyed. Now, what you do is you train the context, right, of what Malika is allowed to answer and in what context and how she can plug in the core message of the campaign, not necessarily switch to idea. Right? Now, let me put this in, let me give this an explain this analogy of a chatbot. What is a chatbot on a website today? Right? It's been fed with a bank of FAQs, very relevant to what your product is, right? Look at HDFC Bank, they've got Eva as a chatbot, right? Now, obviously, Eva will only answer question that's trained and what she or he has been asked to answer on, right? With a bank, right? Now, that's a start. Of course, AI hasn't reached a stage where it can understand crazy complex stuff, but it's getting there. Now, again, you apply back, right? You train the AI to talk what you want to talk with your subtle plugs, and you bring in creativity. Your own example that you gave of the ChatGPT story. Now imagine what all things Malika Dua or any brand ambassador could start talking about different scenarios. You activate the camera, you know who the person is in front of you, right? Again, with user permission, of course, and you customize and tune the story based on that person's environment, and you continue having a longer conversation. I'll give you one specific example of what happened with us. If I remember my numbers right, one person spent about 12 or 13 minutes asking multiple questions to Malika Dua during that one interaction over a mobile ad. Right? Again, it's an extreme scenario, not representative of the largest sample who engage with Malika. But now imagine that person is the face of your brand in whatever shape and form, a cartoon character, the CEO of a brand, or another celebrity brand ambassador. But there is so much more value that they can add on an emotional level because now there is someone talking to you, right? Responding to you versus an ad campaign which just markets and sells. So that's one way I foresee a lot, how a lot will change in the future with and once AI becomes a lot more commoditized and powerful than what it is now.
Wow. So, lot of AI and generative AI. Now, guys, time to take the questions from the audience. And I think the first question that I'm going to pick is most probably for Vishal. And this question is coming from Nil. Nil is from Surat. And I think, where do you hire micro influencers? And I think Pract is something all about this thing. So Vishal, if you want to answer on this.
Great. Unfortunately, I don't think I have a great answer to share. I'm not sure where you can hire micro influencers. That's not really my domain, but there are plenty of platforms. If you just go to Google, you will get access to platforms who will automate the effort for you. Put in your brief, put in your budget. The platforms will identify who can be who can be relevant to your target audience. Put in your monies, get the output, get rolling. I think this is standardized service available on many platforms. I do not know names of those. And from what I do today, I run a marketplace connecting people with those that are hard to reach for a one-on-one advice or a video call. So I'm building a marketplace. I have few of these micro influencers on my platform, but that's not our primary focus area of helping you run a marketing campaign through them. Our goal is to connect you with people. Some of them may be micro influencers. Again, I don't want this to be a plug for what I do, so I'll pause and I'll probably ask Bhautik to redirect the question to someone who may have a better answer in terms of very specific marketplace to answer that.
Divya, if you guys have
I can
something.
I can tell you. I think he asked from me that when I said that people we from vernacular language that physics wala has, because we have a dedicated team. We find out the people. We actually, without any agency, that we directly reach out to the people that they have the right kind of audience. We check their engagement rate, the way their, yes, we check their comments, we check their likes, dislike, engagement rate, we check not only the numbers of followers, because we have seen numbers of followers is a kind of myth also. If the people are not replying on their reels, videos, comments, because when we are hiring the influencer, the right influencer means that they should sell their our product. This is their main goal. That then again we see that what kind of how they are promoting our product in the beginning, in the starting, if they have created the whole story around our product, if they're working on the solution, if they're working on the problem then solution, what kind of product they are. If we are we giving an offer, or just about the brand name, physics wala is the best online coaching platform in India, or physics wala has launched this and this, so or physics wala is offering giving this and this or x amount of discount like this. So what, so as per the marketing need and the campaign, we talk to the influencer and see there are some we have, I tell you this one more thing, we have seen a very good results, just like we take a script also, how what kind of words that you will use, okay, what is the duration. So these kind of things actually works for us, and we are getting good response and directly, because we have worked with few agencies also, but they're very costly and not did not found very good results. So directly reach out to the influencers, or just like I am saying, Divya and the Vishal are my friends. If someone asks that, like, I will introduce and refer them too. So these are the referral marketing also working for us. Just like okay, if you're saying, if someone comes to the Bhautik, so Bhautik, I want to promote my SEO product or SEO services. Who is the right influencer? So Bhautik is in referring me. I am referring to the Bhautik. So from this method also we are finding the good and trusted influencer.
I think this is the best way. This is the best way to identify your micro influencer. I totally agree to it. But now the next question is, I don't know to whom to pass this question, but this question is something like that. When it comes to the KPIs and you want to measure the success of IMC, so what kind of KPI? In terms of the digital, we understand, but if you guys need to share your point of view on the ATL media, something that works, print media or maybe OH, Divya?
Yeah, so I can chip in here. I think the KPIs, one, have to be very business first, right? What are your business objectives? So I think that has to be a very, very strong KPI, because at the end of the day, any IMC has to cater to a particular business. It should have a clear attribution to that and affect that, right? So there has to be business objectives, whether it's sales, it's driving trial, it's creating, consideration, it's signing up, it's accepting a sample product, whatever it could be. There has to be a business objective. Then there has to be a communication objective to things. What do you want your communication to do? Should it create awareness? Should it communicate a particular RTB about the brand? Whatever is the communication objective. And then, of course, brand objective, in terms of long terms, how does it impact and add to the brand?
I
I
can
think
add a
Deva
few
can,
more quick
I think
KPIs.
Deva can throw some light on this question. How can regional brands balance their local identity with the broader market trends? This is something that is very crucial these days.
Um, yeah, so I think what happens is, if you look from a campaign point of view, um, there is something called the main campaign assets, and the following campaign assets. Um, but it is changing rapidly. The recent thumbs up ads, if you see, they have leveraged the actors from the south, actors from the north, and actors from the even like Marathi actors as well. So what they're actually, so even though they're talking about their brand motto or their brand communication, it is going what is contextual to that actor. So, for example, lot like the current jewel right now is very hot, right? So if you see the Lenskart ad, the ad is not all contextual to glasses. It is contextual to Karan Johar. He is considered as a rich brat boy, right? And he spends a lot of money. He gives a stage to the star kids. So these are the things that is contextual to Karan Johar. Now the ad could easily be about Lenskart and the product, but the context of the actor also came into the picture. So I think when you do an entire campaign, if you give certain parts to a South actor, certain parts to a Bengali actor, make sure that is context, a little bit of the context, like you don't use the actors or the celebrities as a prop. You give a reason to why you use this particular celebrity, right? So I think we can keep a balance between local identity and like the bigger market by using the celebrities which are a little contextual and make sense to your product, and not just because they're popular, because they have so many following, because they will get us better reach. Even if you take a smaller a smaller actor in terms of following and popularity, but the ad is contextual and fitting more with that particular actor, then also your product will build more trust, right? Otherwise, though, it's everything is just snaptol. They would bring big celebrities and they would sell any products to seek credibility. So it's a very interesting question. Like, not everything what is meant to do does it, right? Like, for example, Nike Jordans were made for the sports people, but my dad also used them, right? He's not the TG. So these are the interesting trends, and it's a learning. Like, whenever we launch a product, we get to learn these interesting things. And yeah, I think we have to keep in mind about everyone that we're marketing to.
Okay, so I think this question is all about, I think we have already discussed, but if still someone wants to add something on it, because there is some this, I think the technology continues to advance. How do you see AI and automation playing a role in the shaping the future of IMC for the buyer's journey? Uh, Anyone, like we have talked a lot about, yes, Vishal. I just want to understand, I just want to add my question to this. We keep talking about, because you were someone who said that those were the days you had to talk about the funnel, the tofu and mofu and bofu. I remember, I think the last time we met, we had this discussion. So still I want to ask this question specifically about the bofu audience. Vishal.
I mean, I think for me, for the Bofu audience it's all about that micro targeting and the hyper personalization, right? I'm gonna go back to part of what I said earlier, which is uh, it's your tailored experiences that you can offer through your chatbot, right? It's when you individualize it that I think has that impact, right? Going beyond something, this is something that I had learned Kotak Bank does very well, right? And again, I'm going to give a digital example. Uh, they adapt their language, their landing page to the user that's on the website. Obviously, for logged in users or for users who they've stored a cookie when cookies were in a lot more trend before. Each user, if you're a 60-year-old retired person, let me actually change that example. If you're a 70-year-old retired person who's got a lot of FDs in your bank account, they see a very different page on Kotak Bank versus if you're a 30-year-old user with several transactions in the food and restaurant space. You're probably going to get ads for credit card with rewards in for spending for all your local purchases with offers at restaurants. So they would customize the page to an extent that uh, you get to see what you like to see and what you are likely to engage with, right? Versus something that's very generic. And to me, this ties in with how you can again use AI, how you can automate some of this, because you can't literally create a new landing page for every person, right? You define certain different elements which changes some copies, some visuals, and you make it personalized to them. And right, that's his micro targeting. So this to me applies for the bofu as well. You're on mute.
Thank you so much. And this is the last question I'm going to take. And obviously, this question is for our very own Mr. Rana. So, Saurabh, you can generalize this question very briefly. You can answer if you want to answer other than your Physikwala website. The general tips, if you want to give to Rahul, who is talking about the web tracking problems. I don't exactly understand what does it mean, web tracking problems, but I think something that is related to auditing the website and identifying the issues with the website. So, any tools in
No, no,
auditing and
I
identifying the
think
websites?
Bhautik, he's talking about the conversion and the whatever that we are selling. So the traffic is coming from the organic SEO, and how we are tracking the sales and conversion from that traffic. So he's talking about that thing. So actually, this is actually very difficult thing. That from the months and weeks and months that we have worked on, still it is not very 100% accurate, but still we have able to show something that we have done. Okay, so numbers has coming. So Google Analytics, BigQuery, and passing the data from ID user IDs in our database and matching them and checking the life cycle, that is plays an important role for us. So what is the user is coming from which medium that they are coming, so checking the right source of traffic. So what is the last attribution model, so just like is the last click model or first click model, just like first time the user has come on our website, should we add that user, and then again he's coming from a paid, so from which source of traffic that we should counter and attribute to that sale, a first click or last click, so we, and what kind of cookies, so these kind of things that we worked on. And I prefer just like always a last click model. And there's an industry standards also. So from this kind of things, BigQuery, GA4, and our internal database also with a proper UTM on a right pages, just like there is a course pages where we are selling the course, because we have created a funnel from informative pages and blogs, and we are routing those traffic to the course pages, and people and focusing and convincing them to buy something or login sign up. So like this, so from which pages that they are coming, when they have sign up, so what is their ID, so how this is how we have made able to. And actually this is a very one of the most, what should I say, grilling kind of process that I have been through, because it's working with a technical team which they don't understand the SEO, and convincing them and taking their bandwidth is actually very difficult and hard task, trust me. Because SEO is important for you, not for them, because they are actually working with so many categories, so many marketing departments. Is a drip, is a micro influencer, is there affiliate, there is a performance marketing. So they have a clear visibility of the data. So just like I have said, just like if it is a one person, so how many manners that they should give to the other person, which kind of department they should devote to the manners. So that is also kind of costing that startups and companies count. Actually this is a that kind of thing that we need to see, just like Bhautik is talking to a senior person or junior person. Is it talking to a tech person, or is it talking to content people, is it talking to designer or a product manager, so where he should give his important hours of 10 hours to, so these kind of actually matters. And here
Absolutely.
my communication and convincing them, communication, I have learned this thing from my seniors in my previous companies. Saurabh, you need to be very vocal about all your things, you should be communication. Actually I will say communication is a thing which is in SEO industry that they lacks. If you are not
Absolutely.
able to communicate right, it's not about that the English or Punjabi or Gujarati, this should be what you want. सॉर मुझे भूख लगी है, मम्मी मुझे खाना बना के दो. This is the best thing that you can say. Clear
True.
statement what. समझे मेरी बात को? तो ये चीज जो है, आई थिंक अगर हम इस हिसाब से अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट, इफ वी शुड क्लियर सिंपल लैंग्वेज, what is all about the marketing? I think marketing, your teammate is the first customer that you meet on daily basis. First sell yourself to the top management, first sell yourself to the teammate, then sell yourself or your brand to the outside marketing. So that is also a art. So tracking the conversion from a SEO, from a product and tech as a very hard, but we have able to crack. That is not 100%, but still we have some numbers, we have some sales and revenue which was not earlier there. So that is a rigorous effort that we have seen, though. This is the solution.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for this answer, because this is something that so many companies are missing in their site. They are not able to track the actual conversion that is happening with organic traffic, and I think your answer will help a lot of people who are into this industry. Thank you so much for inputs. With that, thank you so much, guys, uh, for your time, and it is more than 2 hours, and I was not so optimistic to stretch it for 2 hours. To be very frank with you, I just to ask my team before starting that I may not stretch it for more than 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes. But surprisingly, we are 10 minutes over the time. But it is all because the quality discussion that we had and the kind of answers that all of you have given. It is too good, and I think now I should give this back to Reshma. Reshma, over to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I agree to you. It was an amazing discussion, starting from marketing management basics to CGI ads to SEO to everything. So it was an amazing experience. I think thank you, Vishal, Devak, Divya, Saurabh, and of course, Bautik. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to this little one who is patiently listening to us from last 15 to 20 minutes. So thank you all the attendees too who are participating with us. We'll surely, if we get the opportunity to meet you all in person, we'll surely do that. And we'll again come up with Digital Horizons 2025. So thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Reshma. Thanks, Bautik.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Bye-bye. See you guys.
you,
And
everyone.
all
Thank
the
you
best.
so much.
Thank
Happy
you.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.